This match comes to us from our friend Meow on the YouTube. On the YouTube, 547 hours. They've been playing since 2019, but they've taken breaks a lot, so they're only about halfway to that 1K hour point. Even though they've been in the game for a long time, as you can see, they have a black splinter, which is a very rare offering from way back in the day. Your build and your add-ons, since you're already showing it, seems kind of interesting. You're doing pallet Freddy and you're doing pallet stun. So this is a full chase build. No. This is it's a very fun build, but keep in mind this is a very one-trick pony kind of build. And that once they realize that, once they realize what you're doing, they may start to counterplay this pretty firmly. This is a fun build, and it's a nice build, but it's not good for consistently doing well. So just keep in mind that, hey, you can run this, but it's not a very solid build. It is just kind of like a fun gimmick build. So I would keep that in mind. You get Bloodlog. It's the fairly survivor-sided map. Very big, a lot of resources. Your game audio is very quiet. In the future, I'd probably turn that up, because I hear more your fan or AC or whatever that is, and your mouse and the clacky keyboard more than I hear the game. Not that that matters too tremendously much, but it just makes it kind of hard to focus in terms of reviewing. So probably boost your game a little bit.
The build is to make pallets nothing to me.
Nothing? Okay, so get that out of the way. You gotta charge your Spirit Fury.
Where the heck did he go?
He went straight ahead. Yeah, he went straight ahead. Like more towards where the lodge itself was. Oh, right on top of somebody. Good teleport. I mean, it happens to the best of us. That just happens. Oh yeah, everybody should be mad at themselves if they lose a survivor here and there. It's just human. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, it happens. I see you're breaking off a lot of chases. And Freddy's not good enough, but yeah, and everybody's just healing up. I would commit to this chases. I would not like hit somebody and leave them, hit somebody and leave them. I know the first time it was not on purpose. But yeah, you essentially have no hook or anything to speak for. Yeah, I would commit to a person.
There. Yes.
I say this in almost every match review where I see this. Dry kicking while there are multiple survivors around is an inherent waste of time, because if there are multiple survivors around, that means that somebody is going to be around to immediately go tap the gen. Go tap the gen. It's 2.5%. That's only... That is the only damage that you do with a dry kick, so don't do it with there are multiple people around. So, yeah. Now we're in another Freddy match review. Okay, so you get your first down. It's a little late for a first down. But that's fine. Well, it could potentially not be fine, but like, if you had committed earlier, you would have had it even sooner. Okay.
I heard you.
Oh. If somebody ever starts blinding you like that, definitely look away. Definitely don't moth into it. Trust in your ears to carry the rest of the chase for that short millisecond that they're trying to blind you. You could have got that. If you're bringing Enduring, or Enduring Spirit Fury, there's no reason to respect pallets. No reason. Swing through it, because you may miss, but you also might hit. You might also hit. You bring Enduring so you can take swings like that without as much of a punishment. So there's no reason to respect pallets if you have Enduring. Much less Spirit Fury as well, so I would swing. There you go. This Rebecca is throwing by doing absolutely nothing, by the way.
Oh, get out of here.
She's actively, like, throwing for her team by doing nothing here. Haven't trained abusing ping yet? You shouldn't abuse ping. You should not. That would be rude and not great. I would not do that. I guess you're doing that because you have brutal, so it's not taking as much time, but that doesn't make your damage of the kick even, like, better. So,
Dude,
I would still worry about dry kicking.
out of the game.
This is why I think Hubris is inherently kind of like a weird perk to run. Because the perk's designed in a very odd way. Because if somebody's dropping a pallet while healthy, it's usually a pre-drop. It's not usually to stun the killer. Whereas people will try to go more for the stuns while they're injured. So, I think Hubris kind of like... It's a fun perk, but it kind of counteracts itself a lot just by the way that, like, people play. You know? Usually if you're throwing a pallet to stun someone, it's like last second because you're trying to save your own skin. They went out the door. They did not go in the locker. In that situation, you didn't need to check that gen because it was already sparking from when you kicked it earlier. So you know nobody's touched it. You didn't have to actually go up against the gen to actually check it. Yeah, that crow flew up, and that's not you, so you know to check over here. Yeah, Rebecca's throwing by doing nothing.
I ain't here to play nice.
I mean, Rebecca's not helping either. Rebecca's just clicking at you and doing nothing. She is not doing any favors. She remembers that that was fake. Just good on her part. Good of her to do. Zones herself to the wrong side of the tile, which is not great.
Hi.
I was about to say, I hope she doesn't fall for that.
There we go.
Freddy match review? I know, there's two. Two Freddy match reviews in one night. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that wild? Once again, I would just face tank that. You have enduring. There's no reason to avoid the stun there. You're kind of in a funny situation where you're trying to like tunnel Jake out, but the only reason you need to tunnel Jake out is because you didn't commit to chases earlier in the game. You could have hit her there. You could have hit her there. If somebody ever does that where they stun you and vault back into you with enduring, if you hit one again, you grab them. So don't, that is one of the things that makes enduring a really good perk. Is if somebody stuns you like that and tries to vault back, you hit them if you have one again. So don't miss out on that. Do not miss out on that. Keep looking up until you make it to the hook. Keep looking up until you make it to the hook. Because you mopped into one flashlight already by not looking up and moving. It seems like you don't want to move unless you can physically tell where you're going. Like if you look down and you see exactly the path you're taking. But like when you're looking up, you can still see the hook in the corner of your field of view. Just walk towards it. Until that person is on the hook, don't look back down.
Kidding me?
You've mouthed twice. If you had stayed looking up the whole time, you would have been fine.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. Is like, you felt the need to tunnel Jake out of the game because they had a lot of pressure on you. But the only reason they had pressure on you is because you split pressured so early in the match that you essentially like let two gens fly by without much of a presence in the game. Like Freddy is saying all this, it kind of does, doesn't it? That's funny. And to be honest, they're just throwing for flashlight saves. They're not actually trying to win. Yeah, I don't until you make that hook, I would just not look. Would not look in any way at that horizontal plane. Straight up, look straight down. Preferably straight up. I always tell people straight up. It's just a better habit. But don't look straight ahead until you've actually made that hook. I don't imagine they win this because they don't strike me as a team that's trying to win at all. I think they're just trying to throw for flashlight saves. So I don't think they're going to make this comeback. Because I don't think they necessarily care. You leave Chase way too much. You leave Chase way too much. So then you're like, you're in the situation where you said audibly, oh, I'm not here to play nice. Well, you could have. The only reason you're in a situation where you don't have to play nice is because you keep doing this. Or you keep just like leaving chases for like no reason. There was no reason to leave that chase there. You almost had her. And you just disappear for no reason. Once again, to go tunnel. You don't end up hooking the person, you just tunnel, but like, you wouldn't be in this situation if you weren't leaving the hook so much. Or not leaving the hook, but leaving chase so much. You would not be under the pressure in needing to do all...
Hello, Pete.
What? Huh?
I was locked there for a moment. Couldn't,
That Dimmador and packet loss.
I saw the Fang running off into the distance.
Just going for distance. She's going for speed. Almost.
There she is.
Now you have your Spirit Fury charged again. The next time she does that, you're good to go. Make sure you actually swing through it. Don't be afraid. There you go.
Oh, I thought that was a
Well, you
fake
didn't swing through it, but...
one. I thought we got rid of that so much.
Oh, that's why you didn't swing, because you thought it was a fake one. Okay. You're lucky the other Fong Min wasn't there.
4K. But I've been wanting to do this sort of build for a while. And...
I mean, you did sweat. You tunneled him multiple points during this match.
Oh.
Very aggressively so. Not even just kind of casually. You did sweat,
Oh.
which is fine. Saying they're like...
Alright. She ran off this way. She's probably going for the rescue. Yep. I'll give you a little slap.
Yeah, if she runs into you, she runs into you. That's her choice. That's not up to you to play differently. You run these like you do LLT walls. Because LLT walls, you want to run it in a way that prevents the long wall vault from or not the long wall, but the fast vault from happening. So you didn't have to vault there. As long as you force her to where she is now, she can't hit a fast vault on either the top long wall or the side long wall. As long as she's on this side and you force her to this side of this tile, she can't hit a fast vault in either of those. So you didn't have to vault there. Yeah, and by rotating this way, you're giving her access to both of the fast vaults. You're giving her access to the side one over here and the one straight to your right. Prometheus, thanks for the follow, friend. You didn't have to do that, bud. I'll try to make that worthwhile. Thank you. Very sweet. Yeah, you've just given her access to both fast faults. Now she just stands there like a doofus, no offense to the player. But, like, you just gave her access to both fast faults. So that's, like, try to keep them on that side, like the little divider wall that has nothing, as opposed to giving her access to fast faulting either. Okay, so now you just gotta find this last person.
Alright, let's see who gets, push first. Did I hear a whisper?
Oh, oh. I love Freddy's little noises. Sorry. Steam decided to do its thing.
Oh, she found it. GG!
Alright, so, in terms of this match review, you're in a situation where, like, I don't know. Like, you won this, but, like, you literally put yourself in such a stressful situation that you didn't have to. So, like, you, at the beginning of this match, your biggest, like, in terms of main takeaways, your first and your biggest main takeaway is that you were split pressuring for, like, no reason. At the beginning of the match, you didn't commit to, like, a single chase. Like, you would hit somebody, leave, hit somebody, leave, hit somebody, leave. You didn't even have, like, sloppy butcher or anything like that would, any, like, healing slowdown that would make that kind of playstyle more significant. So, like, when the gens start flying, you're like, okay, well, now I gotta tunnel Jake, and I'm not here to play nice because I gotta tunnel Jake now because you guys are doing the gens fast. Like, the only reason the gens were going fast is because you weren't downing people. You weren't downing people. You were hitting them once and then leaving. And you kind of continue to do that throughout the duration of the match. Like, you're kind of doing that throughout the duration of the match, which is kind of like why you had to tunnel. Like, it wasn't them being efficient or playing well. Matter of fact, 3 of these gamers are doing nothing but hovering for flashlight saves. You essentially, the Jake was the only person realistically, like, actually trying to win the video game for the most part. The other 3 were like, we'll do a gen every once in a while, but for the most part, we're just going to hover for flashlight saves. So you should not have been as under as much pressure as you were, considering the fact that they were essentially, you know, soft throwing, especially Rebecca. The Rebecca was outright just kind of like hanging out. Rebecca was literally just kind of like subtly just hanging out there. So I would commit to chases more. Because if you're not running sloppy, you're not running any sort of perk that like makes healing less efficient. Split pressure as a playstyle is not that good. Not that good. Second takeaway is you mothed into every flashlight that happened. Every flashlight that happened wasn't gotten because the survivors were actually playing well. It was because you mothed into it. You have to look up. And you do have to look up until they're not, you know, shining the beam at you anymore. And that's the only time it's safe to look down. I know it's kind of scary to like have to walk without looking, but like you unfortunately got to see what happens when you don't look up. you got to see unfortunately what happens if you don't do that. So look up so you can avoid being in those situations again. Yeah. That would be the 2 things I would do better.